Well, a lot of shit happened yesterday. I like to call it the Twitter Wars. A massive war went down with a bunch of people. Everyone went after Jim Cornette. People like me defending Jim Cornette. And I had a war with some indie wrestlers I've never heard of before. So we're going to get into all that. We're going to save the me thing until later on, because everyone's here for the Jim Cornette shit. So everyone has a problem with Jim Cornette's thumbnails all the fucking time. First, it was the Sasha Banks thumbnail, the Mercedes Moné thumbnail, where she was depicted as Hulk Hogan. Apparently that was racist. Please explain how that was racist, but they found a new one now, and at first glance, I understand why people were so touchy about it, but it wasn't racist. Now, let's take a look at the thumbnail in question. Now, as you can see, this thumbnail depicts Swerve Strickland as Swerve Strickland, Kyle Fletcher as a cotton bud, or a Q-tip as they called it, and Jim Cornette as a gorilla. So, why is this racist? It isn't. It isn't, because Jim Cornette, a white man, is depicted as a gorilla. If Swerve Strickland was depicted as this gorilla, then I would not be able to defend this in any way, right? Every Jim Cornette thumbnail, and I've explained this, every Jim Cornette thumbnail is based on something he says in that clip, in that video. This was a reference to a gorilla movie, which I can't remember the name of right now. Very old movie, and it was mentioned in the video. So, the artist, Travis, depicted Jim as this gorilla. Kyle Fletcher was called a Q-tip, which is why he was a Q-tip in the thumbnail. And people have not gone out of their way to take 3 minutes, because that's all it takes, 3 minutes to hear the reference and search up the movie that has lost. I've completely forgotten the name of it. So, why are people outraged? I'll tell you why. Because there's a lot of white people who are outraged about this, and a lot of them are white, and you got a lot of black folk who are saying, I don't see anything wrong with this. One of these white people who thinks that they are the saviour of all black people is Brian Zane. Brian Zane of Wrestling with Wregret decided to try and be the god of the saviour of anyone who happens to be black. And he's saying, oh, why should I watch this video to see the context? What do you mean, why should you watch the video to see the context? Watch the video to see the context, Brian. Now, Devontae Rackley destroyed him last night. I watched his video, man. That guy destroyed the shit out of Brian Zane. So go and check that out if you haven't already. But people like Brian Zane and all these white people, and I hate using the term white, right? I hate having to recognise skin colour. It's something that I always don't want to do. The sooner we start to not care about skin colour, the sooner we can move on as a society, right? But Brian Zane and all these white people, right, think that they're going to get brownie points and likes because they're supporting a marginalised minority community, when in fact that marginalised minority community don't want these people to defend them over fake racism, because that's all it is, fake racism. But it's not just white people. There are some black folk who are outraged for some reason. One of them being O'Shea Jackson Jr. If you don't know who he is the son of Ice Cube. And what did Ice Cube do in his life? Ice Cube was part of a group that actually fought real racism back in the late 80s, early 90s, where police were ramming people's homes in tanks in hopes to find maybe one crack dealer Okay? Back then, the police were rabid, they were corrupt, and they would find any excuse to take their anger out on a black person in Compton, and they would destroy these people's lives. Ice Cube, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, these people fought the police, fought the FBI, so O'Shea Jackson Jr. could have a better life. And that's what they did. They succeeded in giving O'Shea Jackson Jr. and their kids a better life. Now, O'Shea Jackson Jr., he's saying, oh my God, this is terrible, right? It's blatantly racist, it's undefendable, when it's not. Now, if I was Ice Cube, right, and I'd spent my life fighting real racism, and I mean real racism, because all you need to do is go and watch Straight Outta Compton to see how bad it was, right? Who starred in that movie, by the way? O'Shea Jackson Jr. Now, if I was Ice Cube and my son was acting like a bitch over a thumbnail that isn't even racist, I'd slap that son bitch around the back of the fucking head and say, what are you doing? Okay? He's turning racism into a joke, right? Everything Ice Cube did, Dre did, Eazy did, all these people did to make a better life for their children, and their children are going out of their way to call out racism when the racism isn't there. If I was Ice Cube, I'd be ashamed, and I'd tell him, grow the fuck up. Stop being such a soft cunt. It is a white man depicted as a gorilla. A white man depicted as a gorilla. If Swerve was depicted as the gorilla, then yes, we'd have a problem. But that isn't the case. And apparently the Cotton Board, apparently that's racist because of the slave trade and shit, and there's something about cotton, right? Did Travis make a little bit of an error making this thumbnail, right? Probably. He probably should have rethought it when he made it, because he should have known what outrage it would have caused, right? Because people are soft as fuck. But when I'm seeing accounts saying, as a white man who isn't racist, I find this to be completely racist, and then there's tons of black accounts, right, underneath calling him out, saying, we don't need you to save us. We don't need you to try and be our white knight. We are fine. And they are fine. Because the sooner we stop seeing skin colour, the sooner we can actually decrease racism from both sides. Now, do these people go out their way to call out the real racists like Kevin Scampoli and so on? No, they want to go after Jim Cornette because of a fucking thumbnail. And it's ridiculous. Brian Zane is just a piece of shit in general, okay? He's a grifter. He is what's wrong with the wrestling community. Him, Wrestle Talk, all these people who just say things for the sake of saying them so they can get some likes and some engagement. Hell, even fucking Simon Miller, and I thought Simon Miller was a good guy, man. I've seen Simon Miller getting on this shit. I've seen Simon Miller trying to get political. Simon Miller, you don't know nothing about politics. Brian Zane, you don't know nothing about politics. Wrestle Talk, you don't know nothing about politics. None of you do. Okay? Me, Devontae Rackley, and all these other small YouTubers actually do know something about politics because we've been forced to. Because of people like you pushing false narratives. Making the black wrestling community feel like that they're oppressed. Why? Because of a fucking thumbnail. And because of that one guy who said that Bianca Belair shouldn't be on the cover of 2K24. One guy, one random account said, what was it? They always have to have a black, right? And everyone jumped on it. It is one random no-name motherfucker. Why does one random no-name motherfucker mean every single person in the wrestling community needs to fight for Bianca Belair? And why does every single fucking white liberal account like Brian Zane need to jump to the defense of the black community, even though they don't want him to jump to their defense, and they're calling him out for it, including Devontae Rackley, who is black, and they're just making themselves look like fools. They are embarrassing. I am embarrassed to be white because of these people. Okay? I'm seeing a lot of black accounts saying it's all these white people, right? And it is, which is horrible. Because if I'm white, I'm either not allowed to talk about it, or I'm a racist for talking about it. I can't win. And we shouldn't have to have these race debates in 2024. It is over, okay? The narrative of BLM, all these false racism narratives are over. They don't work anymore. You're stuck in 2020. You're stuck in 2021. People have woken up. You don't need to keep doing this bullshit, because it means I have to come on here and be political, which is what I don't like doing. I don't like being political. I don't like alienating half of a fucking audience, but half of a fucking audience is being fucking stupid. Jim Cornette may have said the N-word a few years ago, long time ago, but that doesn't mean he should be judged today. Okay? A lot of white people have said it years and years ago. That doesn't mean they should be judged for who they are today. Because as Triple H said, if you are the same person you was 10 years ago, you're doing something wrong. Everybody changes over time. Everybody grows up over time. No matter how old you are, everybody changes over time. They look back at their mistakes and they think, I shouldn't have done that, and I'll never do that again. I can imagine that's what Jim Cornette's done when he's used that word, and Cameron Grimes, and every other white person that said it, apart from actual racists, of course, like Kevin Scampoli. But that is the Jim Cornette situation, and these people are just so fucking embarrassing, and the black people who are calling it out as well, the black people who are thinking it's racist, you're part of the problem. You are not a victim by default, simply because you're black. That's not how it works. Slavery ended 200 years ago, bro. Okay? 200 years ago, slavery ended, maybe longer. Real racism in Compton may still be around a little bit now, but the main problem ended thanks to Ice Cube, Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, and everyone else that was in that group. And you got people like O'Shea Jackson Jr. Trying to grift. Fuck you, bro. Your dad would. If I was your dad, I'd be ashamed. Ashamed. Now let's get on to the drama I caused, because I had tons of people coming after me. I've had to block people. I've had to mute some notifications because apparently one wrestling fan, one nobody like me, means a bunch of wrestlers, a bunch of indie wrestlers I've never heard of before, need to come to the defense of another wrestler, even though I never personally attacked that other wrestler. So I mentioned in yesterday's video that Billy Starks, you know, where she... I'll play the clip.
Very unwise, Billy Starks! No!
Now that you've watched that clip, you have to wonder why is a teenager, and she was a teenager at the time, and she still is a teenager now, doing stupid shit like that, right? And instead of me saying, oh my god, I hope she's alright, I'm saying I hope the hot dog was worth it. I'm saying I hope the hot dog was worth it because I don't have sympathy for these people. These people need tough love. They need to learn the hard way if they want to do this shit, okay? Now, because of that, I had a bunch of indie wrestlers coming at me. Don't know who they are. Never heard of them before. And they're saying, oh, you're welcome for the engagement. Bro, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Never heard of you. One of them is a female wrestler who I've never heard of. She's got over 50,000 followers. I wonder why. We all know how wrestling fans are with the female wrestlers. They think that they can get some when they can't. And a couple of guys who have like 12,000 followers, 5,000 followers, right? And a wrestling promoter who decided to try and come at me, who was the promoter of that show that I just showed. And I says to him, so you're the guy who let this young girl risk breaking her neck for about 50 people. And I say this, I do not want these young wrestlers to end up like Stevie Richards. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at Stevie Richards. This is Stevie Richards. Now, Stevie Richards isn't like this anymore, but he was. And he's gone through a lot of shit to get back to where he is today. And Stevie Richards has a YouTube channel dedicated to telling wrestlers and fans to not do what he used to do. Okay? Now, I get it. It's their choice if they want to break their necks, break their spines, and end up in wheelchairs in their 40s. But when they get there, they're going to regret it. And all I can do is sit by the sidelines and say, I told you so. But all of these fans come at me and say, you hate wrestling. No, I don't hate wrestling. An indie wrestler can get over with character work and personality. You don't need to go to these stupid lengths, especially at such a young fucking age, to try and get noticed. Okay? I don't care if she's on Ring of Honor. Who the fuck watches Ring of Honor? Nobody. Ring of Honor's dead. Okay? Ring of Honor is kept alive by a money mark who used to like Ring of Honor, is a fan of Ring of Honor, and is doing nothing with Ring of Honor. Nothing. I've seen some clips of Ring of Honor. I've seen the crowds at Ring of Honor. It's disgusting. And these people say it's an achievement. No. You know what's an achievement? Hell, TNA is more of an achievement. Go to TNA. You'll actually get noticed by more people working at TNA than you will at Ring of Honor. NXT is an achievement. Go work at NXT. Work under these legends, these people. Matt Bloom, Shawn Michaels, William Regal. People who are going to protect you from yourself instead of Tony Khan, who wants you to go out there and break your neck. So you can get a This Is Awesome chant so he can tweet, Justified, This Is Awesome chant right now on TNT. It's fucking stupid. All these people are pathetic. And they have the audacity to come at me and try and shame me for my subscribe account and my follow account. What does that have to do with anything? I'm not a wrestler. I'm a YouTuber. I would be a wrestler if I could, but I can't take bumps. And there's a reason behind that. So I chose the other option. I chose to cover wrestling on YouTube. And I'm slowly growing. It's taken a long fucking time. But I'm actually getting somewhere now, very slowly. Who are you to tell me that I'm nothing because I have a small subscribe account, a small follow account, when I'm growing and I'm doing my best to actually grow without destroying my reputation, breaking my spine, and trying to grift with all these other idiots? Get out of your stupid indie mindsets and understand that wrestling isn't about destroying your body. It's about entertainment. And if people are entertained by watching people destroying their bodies like that, you're fucking sick. I went back and I watched the Hell in a Cell from 1998. I watched Mick Foley go through that table. I went, ugh. And then I watched Mick Foley go through the fucking cell onto the ring, and I fucking, ugh. No. I understand fans way back in the day, right? You was rabid, you loved this shit, that's fine, but we've seen the consequences of this shit. We've seen what happens to these people, like Stevie Richards, Mick Foley, and so on, right? Lots of people have become addicted to drugs due to the pain they've received, and overdosed from these drugs, and destroyed their careers from these drugs. Look at Shane McMahon when he got suplexed into glass by Kurt Angle. The glass did not break. Shane McMahon's head crashed down onto the concrete. And Shane McMahon does stupid shit, right? Fair enough, that's up to Shane McMahon. But Shane McMahon's on a big stage doing it. Shane McMahon's making tons of money doing it. These indie wrestlers are in front of 50, 100 people working for small change, thinking, I need to do this so I can get a little pop. It's disgusting. And you don't have any right to call me somebody who hates wrestling. You don't. Because I love wrestling. You don't. You love watching people break their bodies for your entertainment. And that's fucking disgusting. Like, subscribe, follow me on X at DCrossman25. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.